What up? What up? It's your boy Mel, your boy Mr. Gun on Your Nerves, your boy Mel on Mars, whatever you call me, just call me, it doesn't matter. Listen, when you see this robe, it's about to go down. That means it's about to be something controversial, about to be something that get on your nerves, about to be something that rub you the wrong way. But the good thing is, if you have sensitive ears, keep on listening. Guys, we got a great topic for you today. I'm gonna allow a couple of people to come through, but I'm not the type that allow a lot of people because I know my algorithms are crappy. So I just go on with the video. People come through, that's fine. People don't, that's fine as well. But if you do come through, I definitely want to hear your interaction. Hit the comment section, hit that like button if you can, just to add more people, as many people as we can. This is gonna be a great conversation. I've done some research on this topic. I look forward to hearing you guys' opinion as well. The topic is, why do you believe that God said it's not good for man to be alone? Now, it's something that's been on my heart for months. Cause I spend a lot of alone time, I'll just be honest with you, by myself. I'm an isolator by nature because I say a lot of crap. I can't front. I talk a lot of crap. And a lot of people don't like to be around me, or they just don't understand me. And I don't like being misunderstood a lot. So, sometimes you just want to isolate yourself. But in the midst of that, I have to think, why do God say it's not good for man to be alone? And we right now in the epidemic, a lot of men right now are spending time by themselves. A lot of men right now are isolated. Slim Thug, I don't know if you guys realize Slim Thug got coronavirus. Maybe if he spent a little bit more time by himself, he would not have that coronavirus. That's just neither here nor there. It's my hypothesis, but that don't matter. Now, this is coming from the scripture, Genesis 2:18. Now, it's a biblical topic, but I ain't going to be straight Bible this whole time I'm talking. It's going to be a lot of my opinion, just like I want to hear your opinion regarding this particular matter. Genesis 2:18 says, "And the Lord God said, it's not good that the man should be alone. I will make him and help meet for him." Now, and many times in the Bible, as we know, when the Bible says man, it's referring to just mankind, women and men. Not right here. It's talking about male. It's talking about men. Guys with penises. I'm just playing. But it's all about the man. Why is it wrong? Why is it bad for man to be alone? And I put this question on my Facebook. I actually reached out to several of my friends and family to see their opinion as well. A lot of different answers out there, and it's nothing wrong with anything you said. And just like right now, if you want to add and contribute to this conversation, feel free to comment. There's no wrong answers because we didn't write the Bible. Come on now. But we look at the word "not good." It says "not convenient." I did some notes here, so I'm gonna read off a couple things that I notated based on some commentaries I've read. Not convenient, either for my purpose or the increase of mankind. So think about where Adam was at that time. He had full dominion over everything. He had named every animal, every creature. And at that point, every creature had a mate. Every creature had a male and a female. So, every creature had that except for Adam. So that also takes away bestiality. I don't mean to go there, but I just want to say the quick point. For God to tell Adam that you need a female, you need somebody that matches you, that must mean that bestiality is improper, because that means the animals don't match us. Yes, you'll catch that. You don't catch it right now, you'll catch that later. But so everything that had been created at that point could procreate. So one of the purposes of God creating a woman, of course, was for procreation. Everybody had a match besides Adam. Now, let's key into a key point of this particular subject. Not only the subject, this particular phrase, a helpmeet for him. Somebody come in. I'm sorry, I'm on my phone, so my boy Will in here. Yeah. So yeah, bestiality is a no-no, but a help meet for him. So this is the part where we get a little bit in the nitty-gritty. A lot of the different interpretation of this, you will hear it say suitable for him or helper comparable to him. I think that's the keynote purpose of this. God made somebody so Adam, either yes, bestiality, but yeah. God made somebody comparable so Adam could have somebody to relate to. To relate to. Why are there so many men that are even married right now that are alone? You may not be alone physically, but you're alone emotionally. You're alone spiritually. You're alone psychologically. Why are there so many men that has a beautiful wife, a wife that you chased and went after for months, years? What seemed like maybe a lifetime for you, but that chase is no longer an intriguing thing for you, because that chase no longer gives you that fulfillment. That thing you chase no longer gives you that fulfillment that causes you, to want to get back on it like you were once before. Now, the reason I believe that is just my opinion. Maybe she's not suitable for you. At that time, Adam had nobody else to compare Eve to. At that time, what did he say when he saw her? Oh, this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Dang, you fine. Look, he understood that was the first thing that he had seen like him. It's the first thing he had seen that was, made his nature rise. The first thing he had seen that made him understand that, I'm like her, she's like me, she's comparable to me. But that was physically. But if I go to heaven, that's a huge if. One of the first questions I'm going to ask the Lord is, why did you make women just for them the biggest challenge and one of the biggest pains in a man's life? What did Eve do immediately, seemingly, based on what the Bible shows, after she was created? She began to give Adam trouble. She began to give Adam all kind of hell, disobeying every law that they had created, all the rules and regulations. Now, this ain't no women bashing session. I got a purpose of what I'm saying. She began to give him challenges. She began to give him issues to the point that she led him, and Adam was the biggest at fault, but she led him to disobeying God. With Adam not having nobody else to compare her to, yes, she was the comparable and suitable mate for him. But was there a deeper message and deeper thing that God was trying to create out of that moment or out of creating her? I believe God made women to test men. One of the purposes. Of course, now women have a bigger purpose than that. But one of the purposes, is it purposes or purpose? I don't know. One of the biggest purpose, let's skip that word, that God had for Adam at that moment was to challenge him to see, would he stay focused on the task at hand? Would he stay focused on everything that I gave you? Will you allow anything to distract you from your purpose? I don't know any man watching this at any point, either now or later on, you'll be able to say that there have been plenty of women in your life that have been a distraction. There have been plenty of women in your life that took you from a moment of isolation where you were alone all the time, being productive, getting things done, making money, having a business ventures, having all kind of authority over your life, whether you do this or don't do this. As soon as you add this miniature version of you, all of a sudden your life is altered. Why? Maybe she's not suitable for you. Maybe she's not comparable to you. Am I telling anybody right now who's married to get a divorce? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, how do you become how do you become one and allow you and your spouse or you and your girlfriend, whatever the case may be, to be comparable? I got a perfect example for this. A perfect example. And if you watch this, don't get mad at me. Just, your son. I'm a crazy guy. So I tell my business, or at least your business. My daddy. My daddy is a perfect example of this. I'm telling you. My daddy was, everybody who watches this channel know that my mom and my dad no longer together. But my dad, I'm just gonna put it like this. Because I found out recently somebody watched my channel and get offended. But that's what I do, so it don't matter. My parents was a match made in hell. Just put it like that. Charge to my heart, not my head. My head, not my heart. My parents were a match made in hell. I'm sorry, they should not have been together. It just wasn't. They had a couple purposes to be together, which was your boy and my other sisters. But other than that, they had no real purpose. It was just from beginning to end. It was terrible. But now, my dad is the happiest man on earth. Why? Because he has a woman that's comparable to him. My mom and dad, and it's not just about personalities. You can be opposites and you can attract sometimes. But you can't be as opposite as my mom and daddy was. I'm sorry. They were from completely opposite ends of the tracks. Completely opposite end of thinking. Opposite end of goals in life. Opposite end of goals of every day. Like what matters most? Nothing about them was on the same page. But now, my dad's with a woman who is 100% suitable for him. I've never seen my dad smile this much. Period. Why? Because he's in the point where he can be his complete self, have somebody accept him for who he is. He accepts her for who she is, because they are comparable. I was right on a plane with my dad, and my dad, he got married immediately. I'm talking about maybe less than 4 months after he divorced divorced my mom. And I asked him, I said, Dad, why in the world, why you get married so fast? Like, what was the point? Why, I could never do that. I would never get married back to back. I just couldn't do that. And he said, I didn't want to let the right one get away. Now, he's saying that to me knowing who my mama is. My mama is your ex-wife. But I can let that slide and it don't hurt me because it's the truth. He didn't want to let the right one, the suitable one, get away. And guess what? I bet 20, 25 years ago, however long it was, when my mom met, there was probably another suitable one there. But I would love to say my mom was one of the most beautiful women in Dallas, even back then. I'm sure that glitz and glamour is what caught his eye. Just like what Adam saw when he said, whoa. Whoa, man. When Adam saw Eve, I got a message. He saw, whoa, he always say, bone my bone, flesh of my flesh. But he didn't know what trouble lied before him. The point I'm trying to make, guys, are we picking from a suitable situation, Are we trying to suit our flesh? Are we trying to suit where we are at that moment in our lives instead of looking at legacy? What's the purpose? What are we living for? What are we looking at when we look at a mate? Is she suitable? Now, us that are those of you that, who are currently married, how can we look at our situation now if I'm feeling alone as a man? How can I look at my situation now and become suitable, become one? I went to a marriage seminar before, and the keynote topic that they had was, are you fighting for isolation or for oneness? And the point of that was, with isolation, we always focus on ourselves. If you read the book, 5 Love Languages, the first time I read that, I got pissed off. I'm not gonna lie. It pissed me off because I got to mention my boy Will said my dad gave me the realest advice at 16. What is it? It's not how she looks, but how she treats you. I'm in my 30s and I finally understand what he was meaning. That's right. It really is about how she treats you because that's what lasts. That's what lasts. And, when you're old and great, the titties on the floor. I'm raunchy. The titties on the floor and the balls on the floor. Can you still? That's what 50 Cent should have said. Could you still have love for me, girl? He should have said that. With titties on the flow. But listen, when it comes to, what was I saying? Oh, the book of 5 Love Languages. It pissed me off at first. I was so mad because I read it from an aspect of how I wasn't being treated at that time. Okay, I got these 2 love languages. I know I ain't being fulfilled. My love tank empty. So that's why I read it the first time. But then the next time I read from a perspective of, okay, this is what I need to do for her. So they helped me at that time. So at any point in your relationship, you're either pointing from oneness or isolation. Oneness is all about what's the best for us as a whole. Isolation is about what's the best for me as an individual. And with that oneness can come purpose-filled life where we're no longer, somebody's at my door, we're no longer feeling that emptiness as a man. Because, fellas, whether we like it or not, and that's where Adam messed up, our woman gonna follow our lead. I don't care if she's the most ratchet thing out there. Maybe not. I'm gonna really go hyperbole on y'all and say the most ratchet. But if she got any good inside of her, however you lead her, she will follow. And the point I try to make a lot with men is that what we do, we cower down a lot. We allow our voice to be silenced. And we allow ourselves, with the mistakes that we make, to allow the woman to hold it over our head for the rest of our lives and never get back on top to our rightful position as the head of household, as the alpha in the house. It's only one alpha at a time. And if y'all seen this Madam T.J. Walker movie, I'm going to do a review on that Friday. It was some bull crap. I'm just letting you know right now. It was a straight bull crap. And I'm doing a good review. I had some good things to say about it, some bad things. But that was the theme of just to do a little spoiler for my own video. That was the theme of the freaking video, that had trouble with men gaining their rightful position. And that's what it's all about. That's what the household is all about. The household is centered around how men submit to God. What Adam failed to do was continue to submit to God, submit to his purpose. When men submit to God the right way, there is no isolation in the house. Nobody's isolated. I've seen so many great responses to this question I have. And one guy by the name of Ryan on Facebook, a guy probably the best trumpet player in Dallas, horns player in Dallas, he responded telling me just flat out, man, me and my wife were just talking about this subject and we're starting to get back into the word. And that's what's gonna build our family back up. That's what it's all about. I mean, it's not just about what you're doing as far as physically reading the word. It's about doing something as a family. It's about doing something that we can learn and grow together. But it starts out with the man leading. I can't tell you how many times it was just super uncomfortable with, no shade of my mom, but for her to just be leading the family in prayer, leading the family and reading the word and things like that. Well, my dad is just standing right there and wondering, but some of my fondest memories was my dad pulling us in the living room. Okay, we're gonna pray, we're gonna tell stories about the word, we're gonna tell, stuff like that. We all was like, oh Lord, here we go. We would act like we didn't like it, but honestly, that was some of the best times because it's my dad stepping up as the man and pulling us all from isolation. We in this 4 or 5 bedroom house, everybody isolated from each other. Five Love Languages is a game changer, Edie, for sure. If you do it right, Five Love Languages is a big time game changer. But yes, my dad pulling all the family from isolation and pulling us all in the living room, all together, and coming together and just saying, look, we're gonna do this as a family, we're going forward as together. So why did God say it's not good for man to be alone? Well, we learned first and foremost, and it's just based on commentary, that the first purpose was for procreation. Every animal, every living creature had a way to procreate besides man at that time. And then it's for him to have somebody suitable for him. And there was a couple notes here that I want to be sure I got out. It was a word that I had to look up. Okay, it says, my bad, y'all. Okay, and this is the perfect word for the times we live in at the moment. The word is secure, I believe. It's SUCCOUR. That means assistance and support in times of hardship and distress. The wife is to serve and comfort him, or one whose eye respect and care as well as desire. Let me read that one more time. Succor is assistance and support in times of hardship and distress. The wife is to serve and comfort him, and one whose eye respect and care as well as desire. We live in a time right now. That sounds like a straight preacher first word. We live in a time that the traditional gender roles are discouraged. We live in a time right now, and it's become over time based on the feminist movement, which the original feminist movement was definitely to be celebrated because women should have what we call equal rights. Nothing wrong with that. But the modern day feminist movement has turned that to not women wanting equal rights, but wanting more rights, wanting to be better than men. And that has discouraged the segment of women that has tried to discourage a segment of women that love the traditional roles to shun away from it, to go to their own, to go away from respecting the man or to allow him to be the apple of his eye. I grew up I mean, raise your hand if you remember hearing your parents. If you watch this on the playback, hit me in the comment section. And just growing up in the 90s as a whole, the father of every sitcom was the butt of all jokes. The father of every sitcom would just the worst, the dumbest person in the house. You know, we went from, I could say, give kudos to Fresh Prince, Uncle Phil. Yeah, you know, Will Smith scolded on him a lot, but he was a smart guy. The point I'm trying to make is the society has strongly and rapidly gone to a place where women are the dominant. Women are the more respected. Women should be honored more than men. We took this. I appreciate that. We took this segment of us where we tried to balance out society, and we went overboard. I don't know if you guys ever had science projects where you pouring water or pouring liquid into one container and continue to try and pour it in another container and trying to get all the containers even. But the more you pour over here, you're like, man, I went too much on that side. Man, I went too much on this side. We never get to the point where everything leveled, and that's what America's fighting with right now. Trying to level itself out. And I'm gonna talk more about that, of course, in my video with the CJ Walker. Because that's exactly something I learned from that, what America is doing right now, and what is definitely tried to do back then. But that secure word, man, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Secure, assistance and support in times of hardship, not distress. How many women can say you are the support system for your husband in that time of distress? One of the hardest times for a man's life is when he loses a job, or when he has a situation where all hell is breaking loose and we don't know where our next meal is coming from. I posted a little picture of me when just posted $11 on my social media and also here. And I just basically told the story how I gave the only cash I had at the time to a family in need. Did I want to? Not automatically, but I did it mainly because there's no way I can look another man in the eye knowing that I've had extreme hardships in my life. Look another man in the life with his family right next to him and not give him what I could. Because I know he has no plan at the moment. It was a man who no longer has his job. And he was standing outside of Walmart and asking for any type of help. But he has no plan at the moment for his family. That's the hardest question to answer as a man to your family. What is the plan? So to have, and his wife was just sitting there looking hopeless. And you could tell in her mind's like, who else should listen to my dad? I should listen to my dad. I should not marry this dude. That's probably what she's thinking. But how many women out there can be a safety net when your man is going through hardship? Can you be that soft place to call home? How many women are like that? How many women are still like that to this day? Or at the quickest sign, the quickest moment of adversity, you check out. Man, that's one of the biggest things I struggle with as a man, and wondering, can women really love? Are women able and capable of really loving? Because in the Bible, when it talks about the roles and the responsibilities of a man, it tells men, love your wives as Christ loved the church. But it says, wives, honor your husband, respect your husband. It don't tell her to love him. That's not automatically saying women can't love, but it's definitely a moment for me to actually analyze that, to see if that's what it's saying. Because we all know, just like any time in history, when a group of people or a country or an army wants to overtake the land, the first thing they do is kill the men have sex and babies with the women. And I always think to my mind, do the women do that willingly, or they are the women doing that willingly, or are they kicking and screaming the whole time? But to me, it's so easy. You see on social media, women going from dude to dude, which ain't nothing wrong with it. But she got a new love. She loved him instantly. From dude to dude, it'd be 6 guys in 1 year. But she loved that guy just as much as she loved the last guy, or even more as the last guy. And we can analyze that, where that comes from. We can dig deeper to that. But the fact is, that happens all the time. For men, we're not chasing love. We can have 50 side chicks, but that main chick is the only one that we mean that love to. I'm not justifying side chicks. I'm just telling you the truth. The fact is, can you love? Can you be there for your man? When we are in the time of being by ourselves, where it's not good for us to be alone. And I think women recognize that. That's why they come to you and say, what's wrong? And he had no clue what's wrong at that time. Men, sometimes we isolate ourselves before we even know it. It's like women have that intuition, a woman's intuition. Women have that. Men have some type of intellect or some type of mindset with us that before we even know it's an issue, we isolate ourselves. And until we figure out what's going on, we're going to stay isolated. And I'm going to give just a word of wisdom to women. We will come to you when we know what's wrong. It may be a week later. We're going to say, hey, babe, you remember you asked what was wrong? I've been thinking. That's what's going to happen. But the point of this whole message is, we know it's not good for man to be alone based on what the Bible's saying. But we know the purpose of it. Purpose of isolation for men is to gather ourselves, to prepare ourselves, to become who we are. I don't admonish any man out there to go from your mama house to living with a woman. Men need that moment and that time frame of isolation, that time to prepare yourselves, where God can say, okay, you ready. Now let me give you somebody that's suitable for you. Because even with that suitability, even somebody who's suitable, well, let me put it this way. If we jump and go from mama house to living with a woman, how often than not do we move right in with mama? Because we haven't allowed ourselves to see even the type of woman that is suitable for us. The last woman that was suitable for us was mama. Now we move right in with mama. So I just firmly believe that women were created to give us tests and to see if you're able to focus and remain focused. A lot of us have failed that test over the years. But I don't have many people here, so I'm going to wrap up here in a second. If you guys have anything to add to this conversation, do so now or forever hold your peace. It's been a great topic, I believe. And appreciate you guys if you share the video if you can, if you want to, on your social media. It's fine if you don't, but I'm gonna try my best to share it. But it's been a great conversation. I'm gonna give you guys another minute if you want to say anything. Make sure I got all my points out. Cool. Well, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna get me some dinner in. I appreciate you guys for watching. It's been a great video. Oh. My boy Will, why would God make women to test men? I just believe, and I'm not saying that that's women's only purpose. At that point, first of all, we know everything is in God's will, and He knows everything is going to happen beforehand. So I believe everything was a strategy to get us to the point of sin, becoming an actual thing. At that time before then, sin wasn't sin wasn't a thing at that time. So I believe He created women so that the serpent or Satan can test and tempt Eve, and she can convince Adam to do everything. I believe everything is all encompassing. I believe that led to Adam and Eve disobeying God, to sin being created, to all the way up to Jesus dying on the cross. I believe everything was a purpose. But what we can take from that is when we in our mode of purpose, when we in a mode of focus and doing the right thing and following God in entirety, there will be distractions. There will be something that comes up that makes you question if you're doing the right thing or not. Do we take the road less traveled, or you take the narrow road, or what the next step should be? And it takes a strong man to block those distractions and stay focused on the purpose. That's something I still haven't mastered 100%. But I do know the times that I do that correctly, I see nothing but blessings coming after me. I see nothing but purpose and fulfillment coming after me. It's a great thing. I mean, you look at everything. Think about your life, individual life. When you have set your mind to doing things the right way, financially, spiritually, relationally, and then there's always something there to deter it. I don't got a percentage on it, but 9 times out of 10, it seems to be a woman. It seems to be a woman, whether it's your actual spouse or somebody at work catch your eye that's flirting with you out of nowhere, or it could be your niece, your mama, your daughter. It could be somebody like that. It just distract you and get you off path easily. Women, exactly, building character. Women are just by nature, just who they are. The fluffiness in their eyelashes, the curves in their body, the lightness of their voices. Just by nature, they are a distraction to men. Just where they are. And God, I think God knew that. That's why He created women that way. And I believe just for men to be in our correct self, we gotta pass tests. We gotta be able to overcome the enemy. And we resist the enemy, he will flee. Not calling women enemy. I'm saying sometimes the enemy will use certain people that he knows will get our attention. So that's about it. I'm gonna wrap it up. Unless somebody have anything else to say. It's been a fun conversation. Of course, I don't have all the answers. They're just my opinions about what I'm saying. And I don't go live much, but I thought this would be a good time to open up to people who would like to say something. And then they say it's a good way to get people to join your channel. Just based on going live, people go in the recommended section. So hopefully this does. But not a lot of people like talking about spiritual topics, so it's all good. But anyway, been a fun conversation, guys. Appreciate you guys for joining me once again. All the times y'all saw my stomach, ignore it. And but love you guys. Hope you guys have a great night. And always, let's grow. Peace.